Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Baba Basra Kuf Ayin Hey. It's one before the last stuff that we missing Baba Basra. It's very, very exciting. We're going to start in Kuf Ayin Daled on the base, 4 lines up from the narrow line, the Itma. We stopped last year in middle, and we're going to start from here. The Itma, Arev de Ktuva, Divrei HaKol Lo Mishtabed. Kablan de Baal Chov, Divrei HaKol Mishtabed. Kablan de Ktuva, Arev de Baal Chov, Pligi. מר סבר אי איתלי נכסי ללווה משתעבד, אילת ללא משתעבד, ומר סבר בין איתלי ובין נטלי משתעבד. והלכתה, ערב בין, we could be glorious over here like the back, והלכתה בכולו משתעבד, בר מערב לכתובה, דאף על גב דאיתלי לבעל לא משתעבד, מה טעמה מצווה ודאבד ולאו מדי חסרה. So the Gemara says we have here machloikis, that Aryeh of a ksuva, that means there's two dinim. There's an Aryeh, he's a guarantor, and a kablan that's stronger than a normal guarantor. So he's saying, Aryeh of a ksuva, everyone agrees that he's not mishtabed, even though that he's a guarantor on a ksuva to pay the woman's ksuva. If the husband doesn't pay, he doesn't have to pay it, and we're going to see soon why. Kablan that's stronger than a Aryeh, the Baal Choiv, everyone agrees that he is a shirbut. Where there are machloikis, a kablan of a ksuva, and an Aryeh de Baal Choiv, there's a machloikis. One holds if the loive has nechosim, that means when he's taking the loan, he has at that moment what to pay back, then it works and he's mishtabed. If he doesn't have nechosim, the loive or the husband when he's mishtabed to this ksuva, he's not mishtabed. The Aryeh, the guarantor, is no mishtabed, and the other one holds doesn't matter if he has money at the time or he doesn't have money, he is mishtabed. And so the Gemara, the halacha is that in all the cases he's mishtabed, except of one case, a Aryeh of a ksuva is no mishtabed, even though that the husband at the time has money, the Aryeh is no mishtabed. And what's the reason? Because he's doing a mitzvah, he's just pushing this shidduch to go through to make confirmation. I'm going to be obligated to pay back, but she's not losing anything. I mean, it's not like she's giving money and she's not getting back. She's just getting married, and the Rashbam says that a woman's happy to get married. She prefers to be with two bodies than to be by herself and to be single, and therefore he's just pushing her to do the right decision, and therefore it's not real shirbut. Let's read the Gemara weiter. Amar Avuna shchim Rashi kdish kol nechasav amar maneh leploni biadi neiman chazaka en adam oseh knuni al ekdesh matkiף לרב נחמן וכי אדם עושה קנוני על בניו דרב ושמואל דם התערבה ישכים רע שאמר מנה לפלוני בידי אמר תנו נותנים לא אמר תנו אין נותנים על מה אדם עשוי שלא להשביע את בניו אך אינם אדם עשוי שלא להשביע את עצמו כי כאמר רב הונא תם דנקית שטרה בכלל דרב ושמואל דלא נקית שטרה אמר תנו נותנים מלווה על פה הווה ורב ושמואל דם התערבה מלפה על פה אינו גובה לא מנה ראשי ולא למקוחות אלא אמר רב נחמן אידי ואידי דנקת שטרה ולא קשיא הדה מקוים הדה לא מקוים אמר תנו קיימה לשטרי לא אמר תנו לא קיימה לשטרי. So Rav Huna says a shchimera who was on his deathbed that he was makdish all nechosov. He said all my nechosim should be kodesh to hekdesh, and then it says that he has one money amount of money that he owes so and so. So he's believed, and we don't assume that he's trying to take away a hekdesh part of the money that he promised them, because we know we have a chazaka, a person doesn't do a knunia to steal away from hekdesh. On that Rav Nachman asks a kasha, does a person do a knunia on his kids? And Rav and Shmuel, they both say that Shchimra is on his deathbed who said that Ploini has a money by me. So we say it depends. If he said no, if he known he said Ploini has the money by me, he said give it to Ploini, you should give it to him. But if he never said no, he just said that Ploini has money by me, you shouldn't give it. And what is svara? Because the person doesn't want, even though they says this guy, I owe him money, if he didn't say no, you shouldn't give it. Because the reason why he said it, just they want that his kids should think, we have a big Yerusha coming our direction. They want them to feel all happy and rich. So that's why he said it, but really he doesn't owe anyone money. But if he said give it, then he literally says give it, so you have to follow his words. Says the Gemara also here, Kuf Ayin Aleph Amud Aleph, also over here we should say that a person, that the reason why he said that he owes someone money after he was Magdish is because that people, if he gets better, people shouldn't think he's very rich. So what's the difference? And that the Gemara answers, when did Rav Huna speak it's that by Hekdesh is believed, it's somewhere where he has a shtar that he owes someone money. Then he's believed not to give the Hekdesh a full amount, except of what the shtar that says he owes him. Says the Gemara, if so, Rav Shmuel is talking about where there's no shtar, where this Shchimra who says Mone beploini biodi and he says no, not no, is talking about without a shtar. How could that be? Even if he said give, why should he give it? It's a milval peh, there's no shtar. And Rav Shmuel both say a milval peh you don't take from the Yerushim and not from the Lekuchas, so why should the Yerushim have to give away this milval peh? So it says Rav Nachman, Rav Nachman, both being the talking about Rav Huna, the din of the Hekdesh, and being Rav Shmuel, they'll talk about Yerushim. There's two matters that there is a shtar. And why they're not a contradiction one to each other. One is talking about where the shtar is mekuyim, the case of Rav Nachman, of Rav Huna, with Hekdesh, that the shtar is mekuyim, and therefore we have a mekuyim de shtar, so we know that this is not part of what he was makdish. And the case of Rav Shmuel is talking about where there is a shtar, someone has a shtar that the shchimra owes him money, but it's not mekuyim, and therefore, if he said, no, give it to him, it means to say that the shtar is good, and therefore the malva won't have to be mekayim the shtar. But if he never said to give it to him, he wasn't mekayim the shtar, and therefore the malva won't get his money only if he's mekayim the shtar. And therefore we do have a stir between Rav Huna and Rav Shmuel. Says the Gemara, Amar Rabbe Shchimra Shamar Mane Leploni Biadi, V'amru Yitomim Paranu Ne'emanim. Tnu Mane Leploni V'amru Yitomim Paranu En Ne'emanim. Klapi Laya, Ipcha Mistabra. Amar תנו מנה כיוון זה פסקה עבורן מילתאי כלמימר דפארי מנה לפלוני. מנה לפלוני בידי, כיוון דלא פסק עבורן מילתאית, כיוון דלא פארי. אלא יתמר אחי יתמר שכימר, שאמר מנה לפלוני בידי, ואמרו יתומים חזר ואמר לנו אבא פרעתי נאמנים, מה הייתה עם הדקורים מתקר? תנו מנה לפלוני, ואמרו יתומים חזר ואמר אבא פרעתי אין נאמנים, דמעיתא דפארי לא אבא אמר תנו. Comes Rabbi and says, Ashkimra on his deathbed, who says, give a money to Ploini. Sorry, he said, Ploini, I owe Ploini your money, and he never said to give it to him. And now the Yisomim come and say, we paid him off. They believed. But if the father said, give a money to Ploini, and the Yisomim come and afterwards and say, we paid him off, they're not believed. On that, the Gemara asks, Klapi Laya. Klapi Laya means, where is this going through? The directions are wrong. It should be the opposite. Why? If he said numone, then since the father said already he should give it to him, I mean the Yisoimim are mechuyev to go give it to him, so we believe to say he paid them off because they're mechuyev. But if he only said mone leploini biyodi that they're not mechuyev to give it to him, then they shouldn't be believed that they paid him off because it wasn't a clear commandment to give it to him. So okay, so if we're going to say the din of Rabbah, we're going to say it a bit differently. That makes sense. Ashchimra, who said Mone leploini biyodi, someone I owe someone money, but didn't say to go give him the money. And then they saw him say that the father changed his mind, and he told us later on, and he said, I paid him off. Then they believed. Why? Because the father remembered they owed money, and then he remembered in a later date, so the Yitomim claimed, and we believe then that he paid him off. But if he said, give a money leploini, and afterwards they saw him come and say, the father said, I remembered I paid them off, we don't believe them, because a person wouldn't say, nu money leploini, if not that he was 100% sure that he never paid this guy off, and therefore the Yisraelim are not believed to say that the father changed his mind. בואי רוב, שכיב מרש הודע, מה הוא צריך לומר אתם מדי או אין צריך לומר אתם מדי? צריך שיאמר כתובו או אין צריך לומר כתובו? אדם משתה בשעת מיתה או אין אדם משתה בשעת מיתה? בתר דבאי אדם פשטה אין אדם משתה בשעת מיתה ודברי שכיב רק כסובים ומסורים דמי. So Rove had two shilas. Shchim on his deathbed, and he was moida that he owes money to someone. And he was moida in front of two Eidim. Does he need to say, you are my Eidim? Or does he not need to say, because we know by a normal person who admits that he owes money, if he never said Atem Eidai, it could be that he's just playing around. So therefore, by Shchimara, it's the same din, or by Shchimara it's different because the person's on his deathbed, it's different. And another question, if you want to write down what someone admits to, someone that Reuben admits he owes Shimon money, that the Eidim to write it down, he needs to tell the Eidim, please write it down. And if he never said it, you don't write it down. So by Shchimura, does he also need to say to write it down? And if not, we don't write this down? Or because do we say that B'Shas Misa, it's obvious you should write it down even though they didn't say it? So the more after he had this shyness, he said, I know the answer. A person on his deathbed doesn't play around, and therefore, if he said, I owe someone in front of Eidim, he doesn't need to say Atem Eidai. And another thing, it's as if it's written down, and therefore, even if he never said to write it down, the Eidim could write it down, because if it's written down already. Says the Mishnah, המלווה את חברו בשטר גובה מנכסים משועבדים, על ידי עדים גובה מנכסים בני חורין. הוציא עליו כתב ידו שהוא חייב לו, גובה מנכסים בני חורין. So we're going to explain this part of the Mishnah. The Mishnah says two types of a loan with a document, with Eidim, and a loan without. So a loan with a document, so Reuven borrowed money from Shimon. So when Shimon comes to pay back, he could go to Reuven's Nechosim, that's Nechosim Nechorim, and also Nechosim Mishubadim, he could go to the fields that Reuven sold after the loan to other people, to Levi, and he could claim from there if Reuven doesn't have what to pay off. But if the loan was a Baal Peh, it was only with Eidim, without a star, you could only be goiva from the Nechosim of the loiva of Reuven, not from the Nechosim that Reuven the loiva sold on to other people. Kufayin Aleph on base. If someone comes to Bezdin, Shimon comes to Bezdin with a star that says, me, Reuven, I owe you Shimon $1 million, and it doesn't have Eidim on it, so Shimon can claim off Reuven $1 million, but only from the Nechosim that Reuven has. It's not considered like a star that he could take from the Nechosim Meshubadim that Reuven sold after the loan. Continue the Mishnah. Aryeh יוצא לאחר חיתום שטרות, גובה מנכסים בני חורין. מעשהו בא לפני רבי ישמעאל ואמר גובה מנכסים בני חורין. אמר לו בננס, אינו גובה לא מנכסים משועבדים ולא מנכסים בני חורין. אמר לו למה? אמר לו, הרי החונק את אחד בשוק מצוא חברו ואמר לו, הנך לו ואני אתן לך, פטור שלא אלמונותיי הלוואו, אלא איזו ערב שהוא חייב לו הלוואו, ואני נותן לך חייב שכן אלמונותו הלוואו. ואמר רבי ישמעאל, הרוצה שיחכים יעסוק בדיני ממונות, שאין לך מקצוע בתורה, I'm going to read like the back, גדול מהן, ואין כמעיין הנובע, והרוצה שיעסוק בדיני ממונות, ישמש את שמעון בן אנס. So the Mishnah is discussing over here a guarantor. You have a loan that Reuven borrowed off Shimon $1 million. You have the Eidim signed at the bottom, and after the Eidim it says that Levi was a guarantor for this loan. So we say if Shimon is coming to be goyver from Reuven and Reuven doesn't have what to pay, so he could go to Levi. But he could only claim from Levi nechosim that he actually has, not nechosim that he sold after this loan happened, because the obligation of Levi is after it's not part of the shtar, because it's after the Eidim. And therefore it's like a milva Baal Peh, that he was committed Baal Peh to be Aryeh, but not b'shtar, and therefore you can't take from nechosim mishubadim. Says the Mishnah story that such a case came in front of Rabbi Shmuel that the Aryeh was signed after the Eidim, and he said, like what we just said, that he could be goyver from the nechosim nechorim. Told him Bananais, no, in such a case where the Aryeh is written after the Eidim, he can't be goyve not even from the Nechosim, not from Shubadim, and not even from the Nechosim Nechorim. You can't be goyve whatsoever from Levi. So Rabbi Shmuel told Benanas, why is it so? So Benanas answered to him, he told him a mashal. Someone goes on the street and he sees someone strangling choinek, his friend, another person, and he asks what's going on. He says, yeah, he owes me a lot of money, I'm going to kill him. And so the guy who sees this tells him, leave him, don't kill him, I'll pay you off. And then he let him off, didn't kill him, he didn't stop strangling him. So he's potter, this guy who said that, he's potter, he doesn't need to pay the loan of this guy. Because when he gave the loan, he didn't give it because of this Aryeh who saw him in the street much later on. He gave it because he trusts the guy, and that the guy's not paying back, it's not his fault. The only reason why he said I'm going to pay, he just didn't want the guy to strangle him. So says Benanas, what's the case of Aryeh that he is chayev? If he told him B'shas alvo, give him a loan and I'll be Aryeh. In that case, he only gave him the loan because of the Aryeh, then you could go to the Aryeh, and therefore in a case where we have a shtada, we could see that the Aryeh came only after the Eidim. I mean, the loan happened nothing to do with the Aryeh, so the Aryeh is not chayev. So said Rabbi Shmuel, someone who wants to become clever should learn dinei momenis. They don't have a miktsua, they don't have a part of the Torah that's greater than that. And they like a river, a stream that flows, and more and more water comes out, and more chokhmah comes out of it. And someone who wants to be oisek in dinei momenis, he should be meshamish Benanas, because he's a big maven in dinei momenis. And the Tifaris Yisrael explains that the reason why it's considered such a big miktsua in the Torah, such a big subject, is because, let's say in Treifis, So someone comes to the dayan and he says, I don't know if it's treif or kosher. So the dayan could be machmer and say, okay, I'm gonna say it's treif because I'm not sure. We have here a few sfeikes. But when it comes to the nemominus, if you machmer on one, you make it on the other one. If you make it on one, you machmer on the other one. That means if Reuven comes and says Shimon owes me money, and you say, yes, Shimon owes him money, and you machmer, so it means you're making Shimon lose. If you say Shimon's potter, and you machmer, it means Reuven loses. Therefore, you have to come to the depth of halacha to understand what's a real psak, kedei to paskin, and therefore you need a law of cleverness, and it makes you very clever. Says the Gemara, Amar Ula. So before we're going to start the sugya, I'm just going to explain outside. This sugya is discussing if a shibuda deraisa or not. That means if the nechosim of the loiva that they meshuba to the alva is a din deraisa or not. And the nafkamina is, could mideraisa, if the loiva sold his nechosim after the loan, could the malva go and claim them or not? So let's read the Gemara and explain. אמרו לדבר תורה אחד מלווה בשטר ואחד מלווה על פי גובה מנכסים משועבדים. מהי טעמה? שיבודו דאורייתא. ואלא מה טעם אמרו מלווה על פי אינו גובה אלא מנכסים נכורים משום פסיידא דלקוחות. יחי מלווה בשטר נמי. הטעם נינו דאפסידו הנפשיו. ורבא אמר דבר תורה אחד נלווה בשטר ואחד מלווה על פי אינו גובה אלא מנכסים נכורים. מהי טעמה? שיבוד עליו דאורייתא. ומה טעם אמרו מלווה בשטר גובה מנכסים משועבדים? כדי שלא תנעל דלת בפני לווים. יחי מלווה על פי נמי. הטעם לתלי קלה. So says the Gemara, says Ula, Mi'ika din from the Torah, doesn't matter alone with a document, alone without a document, you could claim Mi'ika din from the nechosim that the loiva sold after the loan. What's the reason? Because the shibud is a din deraisa. The shibud, these nechosim are mashubah to the malva mideraisa. So what's the reason that milva al peh, we said in the Mishnah, you're not goiva from nechosim, you only goiva from nechosim nechorim and not mishubadim, because Seder de Lechkuchas, this buyer who bought off the loiva a field, we don't want him to lose his field to have to give it to the malva. So more, if so, that we choshesh for the Lekuchos by star, why we do let him be goiva. We should say nebach the Lekuchos are going to lose out. So the Gemara over there, because it was a star, when there's a star, there's a coil, people hear about it. So if someone bought a field off the loiva after there's a coil out there that this loiva owes people money, it's his loss. You shouldn't have bought off him a field. If you bought him off him a field, it's you are taking your own chance. That's shitas Ula. That means Ula holds shibuda deraisa. Rabbi says no. Dvar Torah doesn't matter a milva b'shtar, doesn't matter a milva al peh. You're not going but only from nechosim nechorim. What's the reason? Because shibuda is not the raisa. That means me'ika din, you can't be goiva from nechosim that the loiva sold to the lekuchos. And what the reason says, Rabba, that milva b'shtar you could be goiva from lekuchos. The reason is because if not, no one will give a loan. They'll say, oh, the loiva will not have money. All his fields he's going to sell on to other people and he won't pay me back. I don't have anything, only guarantor that I'm going to get back. But if I know that the nechosim that the loiva has now on meshubad, I know that I have where to claim. The nechosim are not going anywhere. Even if he sells them, I can take them away from the person who bought it. And therefore, people will lend each other money. So the Gemara, if so, that we say that me'ikeh din, really you can't, but the reason why they were metaken is because the people shaloitinas deles b'fnei loivim. So also milva al peh, we should say they should be able to be goiva from lekuchos. On that, the Gemara says no. By milva al peh, there's no coil, and therefore the lekuchos are going to lose out. They don't know that this guy owes anyone money because there's no coil, and therefore they're going to lose out if they're going to buy this property and they're going to take it away from them. So therefore, we say that milva al peh, where there's no coil about it, you can't be goiva from lekuchos. Let's read the Gemara Vaito mi amara be'achi ve'amara be'gavu karka yesh lo gavu ma'ot en lo b'chitei ma'epuch derabba la'ula v'de'ula l'rabba ha'amaru לדבר תורה בעל חוב דיני בציבורית רבא תמה דבני מערבה kamar ולei לא סבירה לei. So the Gemara asks a kasha. It comes out that Ula holds shibuda deraisa and Rabba holds shibuda lav deraisa. Says the Gemara, I have a kasha. Did Rabba say that Shibud is Lav Deraisa? Rabba said, in a case that we had this earlier in Baba Basra, that someone, a Bechor gets double, but only with something that the father has already B'Shas Misa, not something that's going to come later. And says Rabba, in a case where Bechor if someone died, Yaakov died, and he has a Bechor Reuven, and then someone owes Reuven money, and the Yisoimim went and got that money, so it depends. If they claim from that person karka, that's a big shibud, and l'chor shibud deraisa, so the Bechor gets double in that piece of karka because shibud deraisa, and there's a strong shibud in this karka. It's as if they took it already, as if the father had it already when he was still alive. It's called muchzik, it's not roy. Mashenkin, if they claim from the loiva of the father cash, there was no shibud on that cash, and therefore, because the shibud only goes on karkois, so therefore he doesn't get double. It's called roy, no muchzik, he doesn't get double. So we could see Rabba hold shibud deraisa on karka. And if you're going to tell me we're going to turn around Rabba to Ula and Ula to Rabba, the meaning that it's Rabba who says over here Shibuda Deraisa, and it fits in with what we just brought Rabba, and Ula the one who says Shibuda Lav Deraisa, something more you can't be. Ula the one who said that Var Torah, Bal Choiv, his din is Beziburis. And from there we could see that if din is Beziburis, it means that Shibuda Deraisa. So you can't say it's Ulu the one who holds not Shibuda Deraisa. And Tosfos goes into understanding how do we say from that we say Bal Choiv Dina B'Diziburis, so we could see that Shibuda Deraisa. The could say maybe Shibuda Derabanon, but that's the Shibud's only on the Buris. That's what Tosfos asks. Maybe it's so bad taking from the Bal Choiv himself, and for sure when the Chosim of the Bal Choiv they never sold of the Loiva, are not on Meshubud. Tosfos gives his Turutzim. So the Gemara. Okay, so really we're not going to turn around. Really, Rabba is the one who says Shibuda Lav Deraisa. Oh, the Chor Rabba said that Bechor who claims Karaka, he gets double because of Shibuda Deraisa. And that Gemara says no. Over there, Rabba was talking about the Chittas of the people of Eretz Yisrael, the Shitta of Bnei Marova. But he doesn't hold that. He holds, doesn't matter if Yaakov died and the Yisoimim, doesn't matter if they claim from the Loiva of Yaakov Karaka, doesn't matter if they claim cash. The Bechor doesn't get double because Shibuda Lav Deraisa, and therefore it's roy, it's not muchzik. Only Bnei Marava hold that Shibuda Deraisa, and therefore if he took karka, the Bechor gets double. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Shmuel, Damri Tarvayu, Malve al Peino Govelo Mene Oshim Velo Mene Lokochot. Maitame Shibuda Lav Doraita, Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Shimon Lakish Damri Tarvayu, Milve al Pe Gove Mene Ben Mene Oshim Ben Mene Lokochot. My time Shibuda Doraita, Metive, we have a cash on the Zachofer Bo Bereshut Rabim. ונפל עליו שור והרגו פטור ולא עוד אלא שאם מת השור יורשי הבעל חייבים לשלם דמי השור לבעליו. אמר הבעל, אמרה בשעמד בדין, והרגו קטני, אמר ברבא שעשרו טרפה. ואמר רב נחמן תני תן מת בקברו, אתם בקברו אתם, דיאת ודייני הפומה דבירה וחייבו. אמר הפאפה הנחתה מלווה על פה, גובה מן היורשים ואינו גובה מן הלקוחות. גובה מן היורשים כדי שלא תנהל לפני לווים, ואינו גובה מן הלקוחות, דלת לי קלה. So says the Gemara, continues the Gemara of the Sugi of Shibuda Deraisa or not, says the Gemara, Rabbi Shmuel, they both hold a loan that's not written down in a document. You can't be going not from the Yerushim, let's say Yaakov is a loiva and he passes away, you can't claim not from his Yerushim, from Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, and not from Lekuchas, and not from field that Reuven sold on to a different person. What's the reason? Because the Shibud is not the Raisa. And Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shimon Lakish hold even a milva al peh, you could be going also from Yerushim of Reuven the loiva, and also from the lekuchas of Reuven of Yaakov, the Yerushim of Yaakov, and also from the lekuchas of Yaakov, the people who Yaakov sold the field to. What's the reason? Even if it's alva al peh, because Shibuda Deraisa. And that the Gemara asks the kasha. It says that someone dug a bor in Rishus Rabim, and while he was digging the bor, an ox went and fell in the bor and killed the person who was digging the bor. So normally a shor who kills a person, the owners of the shor have to pay. In this case, since it was because of his hole that he was digging, they are potter. Continue the Brisa and says, not even more so, that if the shor died when he fell on the person who dug the hole, the Yerushim of the person who dug the hole have to pay to the owner of the shor for the shor who died in the bor. And we could see over here that the Yerushim need to pay the shor. The shor is like halva al peh. There's no document on it. It's a nedek that happened. So we could see the Yerushim need to pay halva al peh, because this is like halva al peh. So it's a kasha to Rav and Shmuel. So says Rabbi Lo, in the name of Rav, it's talking about this brisa where she omad bedin, where Besdin will mechayev the father before he passed away to pay, and then he passed away, and therefore, once Besdin will mechayev, it's like alva b'shtar. That's why the Yerushim need to pay. Says the Gemara, how could he explain me that? It said that he died. How? So when was he omad bedin? Says Rav Ada, the son of Rav Abba, it's talking about that when the shor fell in the borough, he made this person who was digging the borough a treifa that he's going to die soon. And then they took him to Bezdin, and then he died. On that, the Gemara asks, how could he say this? But Rav Nachman learned in the Brisa that it says, Mesu Kovroi. Awesome, that the person died in the borough that he dug. The shor fell on him, and he died over there. So when did he have a time to go to Bezdin that they were mechayev him? Says the Gemara, it's talking about that the Dayanim was sitting on the edge of the borough, the ox fell on him, and he nearly died, and they passed him that he's chayav to pay, and then he died. And therefore there was a chiyuv of Bezdin before he died, and therefore they thought him need to pay, the Yerushim need to pay his choy, because it's like alva b'shtar, because Bezdin will mechayev him, and once Bezdin will mechayev you to pay, it's like alva b'shtar. Says Rav Papa and Kufa in Vava Mudalef, the halacha is, a milva bal peh without a star, you can be goiva from the Yerushim, but you can't be goiva from the lekuchos, not from the people who the person who died sold to them the nechosim. Oh, before we were toiled, both if Yerushim are chayev, so also the lekuchos are chayev. If the Yerushim are potter, the lekuchos are also potter. And here we're making a split in between. Says Rav Papa, the reason why you go from the Yerushim, because if not, no one's going to lend money. They'll say you're going to die, and then I won't be able to claim from the Yerushim. I'm never going to lend you money bal peh without a star. And you can't be, and therefore you can be going from the Yerushim. But you're not going from the lekuchos because there's no koil, and the koil who don't the lekuchos. What did the lekuchos? Bishleim and the Yerushim makes sense. They'll pay the father's choiv. But why should the lekuchos pay this person's choiv? They never knew about it. There's no koil, and therefore they potter to pay the choiv if it's a choiv bal peh, and they bought karka off the loiva. Thank you very much. Next daf is the last daf in Baba Basra, the longest masechta in Shas. It's so exciting that we're zoicha to come to this point in life that we're going to be messiahing the longest masechta in Shas. Thank you very much.